To start the sewing process, we'll use our pattern paper to cut out the fabric. Now the fabric was folded into two before we actually cut it off. So what you do is when you have remnant materials, you actually join them. So you join them before you use your pattern paper you drafted to cut out the fabric. So before you draft your pattern paper, make sure you've joined your fabric. So you could see I joined those fabric at that point. Now if you are joining fabrics to make an outfit, just make sure they have similar colors. Like this, now it has green in the flowering design upwards, and the down part of the material is just totally green. So we'll go straight to the sewing process. I'll adjust by ½ inch away from the edge, then I'll make a ½ inch stitch. So one part is actually longer than the other in terms of positioning, and I'll do the same for the other leg, adjust in a way that one part is ½ inch wider than the other. Then I'll make a ½ inch stitch on the edge of the shorter part. So we've stitched and you can see what we got. Next thing will be to turn it to the other side, make a folding, using that folding to cover the initial stitch. So you use that folding to cover the initial stitch, then you make another stitch on the edge. Now this kind of way of sewing a boxers is so good because if you are in a hurry and you are not sure what part of the boxers you are wearing, be it the right or the wrong face, you can actually wear either right or wrong face. You can even wear it out and nobody would be able to tell if you're actually wearing the wrong or the right face of the boxers. And you do those kind of things when you know the material you used in sewing your boxers doesn't really have much difference in terms of the right or the wrong face. So succeeded in sewing, in top stitching that for the left and also for the right leg. The next thing will be to join both. To join both is really simple. Just place both at the crotch points like that, sew to the top and also sew to the down. But you won't just sew like that. You would also rearrange it in a way that one part will be longer than the other part by ½ inch. So when you rearrange one part to be longer than the other part by ½ inch, you will start your stitching from the top, a ½ inch away from the shorter part, down up until the crotch and up until the other part of the waistline. Now if you joined material in making yours like I did, just make sure your lines are in alignment when you're sewing. That's the part you join for the left should be in alignment with the part you join for the right, and if you do so, you would actually get a perfect result. And please make sure your stitches are neat. As you can see, we've joined both legs together, and we did so making sure one is ½ inch higher than the other in terms of positioning, and we also made our stitch a ½ inch away from the shorter positioned one. And that is not final, but let's just show you the result in terms of turning it to the right face. So this is what we got when we are done joining. But to finish it off, I will open it inwards like that and bend. So I'll open it inwards, use the longer part to cover the shorter part, bending by ½ inch. Then I'll stitch on the edge all through from one waistline down to the crotch point, then up to the other waistline. We are done top stitching, so you could see. So we did that from one waistline down to the crotch up onto the other waistline, and that is a go for now. So the next thing on the list would be to bend the downline. So we are going to bend the downline. To bend the downline is pretty simple. Just make a half inch bending twice. You do it the first time, then you do it the second time. And after doing so, you will just make your stitch on the edge of your second folding. And that's just that. So you do that for one leg, and you also do that for the other leg of the boxers. After sewing the downline, I'll bend the waistline by 1.5 inches. The 1.5 inches I gave initially when I started drafting my pattern paper. So I'll bend. You can use your pressing iron to hold it down. That's using it to create a gaiter. So maybe when you are walking, you just follow the line like that. Or you can actually make use of pins. But I'll prefer you use your pressing iron. Then after that, you bend that half inch mark we took on our pattern paper and you sew on the edge. You will do that from the beginning back to the beginning. But what you will do is you will give a 1-inch gap from where you started so that you can pass your rubber through that 1-inch gap. Just to clarify, this is our actual crotch measurement, 14.5 inches from that line downwards like that. You know, when I was drafting, I took it from the down line, but this is the actual crotch measurement. And this is our actual boxer's length measurement. So you could see now everything is starting from the 1.5 inches line. So just a little explanation of how everything is going to work out. The part I marked with broken lines for folding will be bended like that. Then on the 1.5 inches mark, you make a bend also to meet the 1-inch mark. And when you do that, you will make your stitching on the edge of the whole folding like that. And that will be how your waist line would be. So you could see the whole measurement now from the top to the crotch and from the top to the length. And the remaining 1-inch downline is for the folding also. I'll make use of a nail to pierce through the rubber, then I'll pass it through the waistband of the boxers. After passing the rubber through the waistband, we'll bring it out like that. Then you arrange the rubber, making sure it is well positioned throughout the band, it is not folded. Then on doing so, you bring it out and make a stitch to hold it down. And after holding it down, you will put it inside. Then you close up the opening.